How's it going, Diablo fans? So next week we are gonna get the PTR and I'm like extremely excited. And today I wanna just theory craft a build which is gonna come up, which is going to be the Frozen Orb Conjurations build. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are saying, yeah, this is pretty obvious. And you know, I just wanna deep dive into the synergies of this build and how all the new buffs and the new items affect the build. So let's get right into it. So reading the patch notes, the most important part regarding the new Sorceress meta and balancing here is this change. Necromancer, Barbarian, Druid and Sorcerer companions now receive 100% of the player's attributes. So this used to be 30% before, so your Conjurations would only get 30% of your crit, 30% of your attack speed, 30% of your lucky hit chance, 30% of your everything basically. So let's take a quick look what this means in detail. First of all, we're gonna get 70% extra crit on our Conjurations. And this is such a huge deal because there is further synergies which directly benefit from this. But before going into those synergies, let me highlight one more thing. This also means your Conjurations are gonna get 70% extra attack speed, which basically means, well, your Conjurations just deal 70% more damage, period. So let's dive into the actual synergies this is going to enable for us. First of all, we have the Invocation Glyph. This glyph would usually not be used because your Conjurations would only get 30% of your crit chance, so this would make it a pretty useless glyph overall, right? But now, since our Conjurations inherit 100% of our crit chance, this is certainly the strongest buff for Conjurations possible. If you place this into a board with 49 dexterity, you're gonna get a whopping 270% additive damage just from this glyph alone, and on top of that, you're also gonna get 15% extra damage reduction, which is going to be hard to come by in the upcoming patch. Second synergy here is the Destruction Glyph. Obviously, you would most likely be using the Destruction Glyph with your current build already, but Destruction Glyph again didn't really work for Conjurations at all since they didn't have our full crit chance. So since Conjurations now have 100% of our crit chance, Destruction Glyph is another 174% damage for our Conjurations if we place it into our second 44 dexterity board. And our third synergy is also pretty obvious. It's going to be the Conjurer Glyph. Usually you were only using the Conjurer Glyph to buff the 20% increased duration, but now since Conjurations are actually doing damage and are actually also scaling with our crit, we can use the Conjurer Glyph with a maximum of 75 intelligence to get another 225% additive damage here. But wait, there's more synergies here. And this is only the first slide, so there's going to be a second slide, so stay tuned here. If you look at the patch notes, the baseline maximum number of Hydras has increased from 1 to 2. So that means if we were using the Serpentine aspect, we would have 2 Hydras, and now the baseline increases to 2. So now we have a maximum of 3 Hydras. So instead of 2 Hydras, we can actually place 3 Hydras, which also do damage. So that's another 33% damage increase multiplicative right there. So this is just the buff to Conjurations alone. If we take into account these, then I guess it's fair to say that we're gonna end up at around 5 to 10 times additional Conjuration damage. Why 5 to 10 times? Well, first of all, we get another 70% crit, which we could just say this is going to be at least another, I would say, 100% multiplicative damage. And then we get another 70% attack speed, which I would say it's another 70% multiplicative damage. So we are at 700% already, and we are not taking into account the critical damage and all the other buffs here. So I would say we're gonna end up somewhere between around 5 to 10 times more damage with Conjurations. As already mentioned, this is only the first slide, which is focusing on direct buffs to Conjurations. On the second slide, which I'm going to be starting in just a second, we're gonna look at further synergies, and those synergies are evolving around Frozen Orb. So let's get started. Just for completion here, we're going to put the 30 to 100% on this slide again, but I'm only putting it here because this actually also means that we get another 70% lucky hit chance on Conjurations, because remember, all stats are going to be increased from 30 to 100%, so that also includes our lucky hit chance. So with all that information taken into account, let's take a look at what actually changes for our Hydra. The lucky hit chance is gonna go from 3% to 10%. The attack speed is gonna increase by 70%. We're gonna get one additional Hydra for free, and if we are using the Serpentine aspect plus the Hydra enchantment, we can get a number of 4 to 5 active Hydras at a time. So we get 4 to 5 Hydras having massive attack speed and a pretty high lucky hit chance. So that would already probably justify a pure Hydra build, but this is not even close to being everything. So on top of this, we get the new unique item, the Fractured Winterglass. So what is this going to do is, it's going to give us a 50% chance to spawn a random conjuration when the Frozen Orb explodes, and it's going to give us a 100% lucky hit chance when our conjurations attack to launch a Frozen Orb. Wait a second. So we have 4 Hydras attacking with roughly 3 or 4 attacks per second, having a 10% lucky hit chance and a 100% lucky hit chance to spawn a Frozen Orb. So every 10th shot of a Hydra is going to spawn a Frozen Orb. That is going to be insane. And also, I did not even calculate any lucky hit bonus, so the 3% is the base lucky hit chance. With the new item changes, we can probably get somewhere around 150 additional lucky hit chance on top of that. So that would be every third shot of a Hydra launches a Frozen Orb. And what would we need all those Frozen Orbs for if Frozen Orbs wouldn't have been massively buffed, correct? Well, so let's look at the buffs for Frozen Orb here. First of all, the base damage has been increased by 20%. Fair enough. Then also, the condition from the enhanced Frozen Orb basically changed to when healthy, it's gonna do another 45% damage, period. This is another significant buff here. And then on top of it, it's gonna increase the chance to make enemies vulnerable, and it's gonna be a little bit longer as well. On top of this, the aspect of the Frozen Orbit has also been buffed. This makes Frozen Orbs explode an additional 2 times for 30% to 40% extra damage. Well, this has been buffed to 40% to 65% now. And the last buff I want to highlight for this build is, since we also put the Frozen Orb on our bar and we can cast the Frozen Orbs all the time, then we have the Conjuration Mastery synergy here. So Conjuration Mastery has also been buffed. It used to give just 1% extra damage per conjuration, which was already a pretty significant buff. Well, now it gives an extra 1% movement speed and 2% mana generation for every active conjuration. So this just might mean that this is going to solve our mana problems, casting permanent Frozen Orbs with an extremely high attack speed right there. So putting all these things together, let's just rephrase what we get, right? We get a lot of conjurations, we get more Hydras, we get more lightning spears, we get more ice blades, everything more. Then for every conjuration hit, we will launch Frozen Orbs, which are gonna freeze stuff and make them vulnerable and gonna do a lot of damage. Then for every Frozen Orb we launch, we get a 50% chance to spawn a conjuration. All that synergizes together with the Conjuration Mastery and give us crazy high damage increase stats. The lucky hit chance on Hydra is going to be nuts. It's gonna be spawning Frozen Orbs all the time. And this is just gonna give us Hydras and Frozen Orb all over the place. Literally, look at your screen right now. They're gonna be everywhere. They're gonna be chewing through everything. The Frozen Orbs are gonna freeze everything like crazy. Everything is gonna be vulnerable. The Conjurations are gonna do massive damage. It's gonna stack like crazy with Conjuration Mastery. This is gonna be an amazing build, and this is probably going to be so powerful that it's hopefully gonna carry you like easily to like level 250 down in the pit. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited for the PTR and I'm gonna be there on Tuesday when it launches. So make sure to catch me live. And also I have a video where I showcased the entire patch notes for Sorceress. So make sure you check that out if you haven't done as well. And I might also be doing some more theory crafting and some more build showcases for PTR in the near future. So again, thank you so much for watching and stay tuned. And I see you on the PTR.